everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm building a $700 budget gaming setup. As you guys can tell, I got no setup right here right now, so we gotta build one today in this video. I'm gonna show you guys the whole process of me building it and all of the different components that I use and all the prices and all that kind of stuff. So let's get right into that. The first thing we need to do is get our desk set up right in here. So I'm gonna go grab the frame to my desk and build it real quick, and then I'll turn the camera back on, and then I'll kind of let you guys know where I'm at with that in a minute. So yeah, I'll be right back. All right, so I got my desk frame in place here. It's 55 inches in length and 24 inches in width. So it's nice and big. I'm doing a dual monitor setup with this. So it's gonna be nice to have an extra wide desk to accommodate those large monitors that we're gonna be putting up later in the video. So everything's still kind of loose a little bit, and I gotta throw the top of the desk on, and then we're gonna go ahead and tighten everything up all at once. That way we don't have an issue where I tighten the whole frame up and then the top of it doesn't fit on perfectly. So I'm gonna go grab the top of the desk, screw everything in place and tighten up all the bolts on here. And then once I do that, I will catch back up with you guys. I don't wanna bore you guys to death with the process of turning bolts and screws and stuff. So let me do that real quick and I'll be right back. So as you guys can see, I got my white desktop installed and all the screws are tightened up nicely. It looks really good, but it's kind of covered in crap right now, so you guys can't really see it, but you'll get to see it in a bit anyways. Right now I'm trying to focus on getting my dual monitor stand installed on the back of the desk there. I'll zoom you guys in a second and show you guys the whole process of that. But that's coming along nicely, so I'm gonna show you guys kind of what's involved with getting this thing installed real quick. Alright, so I've been kind of focused on this part here for the last few minutes, getting the main clamp set up that'll go on the back of the desk, getting everything kind of assembled and such, and it's kind of a big process. And then over here we got a little foam pad that comes with the stand. This just protects the desk from getting damaged, or the surface of the desk from getting damaged when you go to clamp this down. Just little foam pad to keep it safe. So I'm just kind of following along with the steps that comes in the manual. This is in a lot of pieces. I'll show you guys here. This came in a bunch of pieces with a bunch of screws and stuff, and it's kind of a mess, so I'm not gonna show the entire process, but I'm just following what the instructions tell me to do. And I will say though, this thing has got some weight to it. Like, this is a pretty heavy, you could hurt someone with this thing if you wanted to. Which I guess is a good thing considering this is going to be holding two monitors. You want it to have some weight so that the monitors don't tip it over too easily. So I'm going to continue on with this process, and I will meet back up with you guys once this is completed. Alright, so I got the stand installed with the arms on it and everything now. I want to give you guys a few pointers in case you guys do this yourself. I'm using a 55-inch desk, and I wanted this dead in the center of it, so you have to break out a tape measure and then just measure halfway into the desk. That would be 27.5 for me, which is right here. And then that's what you would use as a reference point as to where to clamp it on your desk at. Other than that, it was a pretty easy process to get this thing constructed. Just a few Allen bolts. They supply you with all the tools you need to put this together, which is awesome. So basically how this is gonna work is, hold on. We have these mounting plates that go on the back of the monitor, and essentially how we're going to do this is, once it's on the monitor, it's going to hang on this little pin right here, or not pin, it's more of a screw, and it'll hang on there just like that. It's supposed to slide on, and then they give you these little bolt caps right here, and you just screw it on like that, and it's not going to come off, and you're solid. You don't have to worry about your monitors falling down or anything like that. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and unbox one of my monitors for you guys so you can see it. And then we're gonna throw them onto this stand here so you guys can see what it looks like. All right, it's a pretty big box. There we go. So these are Asus Tough Gaming VG, what does it say, VG24V. Anyways, these are 24-inch curved monitors by Asus. They are 144 Hz refresh rate and a 1 millisecond response time, which is what I was looking for. And Got these for a really good price. These are about 350 bucks for 2 of them. So let's go ahead and crack these things open for you. Got the stand here, DisplayPort 1.2 cable, and a power cable that goes to the brick. I don't need that stand, but open this up. It's covered in this foam crap, of course. But if we can get it out and get all this crap off of it, you can see kind of what we're working with here. No, this lens is not gonna zoom out far enough to see it, but either way, you'll get to see it in a second when I put them up on the stand. So there is a bit of a process to get the VESA mount to work on this, because if you see, this has a the arm on the back that rotates so that you can put the actual like desk stand on it, but we don't want that. And to wall mount this thing, we have to take them off. So there's those 4 little screws right here that you got to take out. You do that by taking a knife, focusing, popping these little rubber caps off. Then you'll take a screwdriver, Phillips head, and you'll just take out these screws. Like I said, there's 4 of them. Once you take them out, this whole arm will just pop right off, and then you can put your VESA mount on, which I'll show you guys in a second. All right, as you just saw, this kind of pulls out. There are these 2 tabs in the side here, so you gotta kind of have to pull it out at an angle up towards the, or down towards the bottom of the monitor. And then you wanna make sure you save these screws just in case you ever wanna get rid of it or go back to the regular desk stand. You wanna make sure you have the screws to put this arm back on. But for now, we'll set that aside. We'll focus in on the VESA mount here. So, as stated, here is the mount bracket. Now you want to make sure that this little tab is facing away from the back of the monitor, and it has to be at the top of the monitor. So the Asus logo right here is the top, and I want to have this facing out. So I'm just going to set this in on the VESA mounting screws, or the screw holes rather. And the desk dual monitor setup mount thingy that I just installed on my desk comes with a bunch of different screws that you can use for mounting this, so it's not a big deal if you don't have them. And just like that, our mount is installed, and we can go ahead and slide this onto the monitor mount. So I want to make sure that I show you guys properly how to install the monitor on here. As you can see, monitor is facing up. We're simply going to put the mount onto the little arm bracket there, and then slide it down onto the little screw right here. And then once you got that far, you're pretty much done. Now you want to take one of these little, what would you call it? Like a little bolt cap thing here that they come with. And you just want to screw this onto the top. That way, this won't come off of the stand at all, no matter how much it shakes. So pretty simple process. Now we're going to kind of position the rest of the arm wherever we want it, and then we're going to use the supplied Allen wrench to tighten up all the different little bolts and stuff. Like right here, there's about, like, I want to say 6 on each side to secure in the position where we want them at. So I'm going to mount the other monitor first, and then I'm going to tighten these all into their respective positions. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll be right back. So there we go, we got the monitors mounted in a pretty decent position. They're not perfectly centered yet. It's kind of a tedious process to go through and fix all that, but you can kind of see what they look like now. You get a pretty good idea of what we're going for here, and I'm loving it so far. So I gotta take off these stickers on the monitors here. So we'll do that real quick. They're just adhesive. I'll just give you the specs of what the monitors have to offer. Just take these off real quick because we don't need them anymore. then take a step back. Now I think that looks pretty awesome. Once we get the desk like actually pushed back where it's supposed to be, it'll look even better. And we get the desk cleaned off too, that's kind of important as well. So now I gotta go through and route the cables down the side of the desk mount. They'll go over the cables, they'll be zip tied to the back of the swing arms and then down the back as well. So you shouldn't see them at all if I do this right, you won't see them at all, that is. And I'm gonna do that off camera though, because it's kind of it's just running wires, it's nothing interesting. So I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll be right back. All right, so as you guys can see, I got the monitors installed and the cables are actually ran behind there. You can kind of see one of the zip ties right there, but it's not too visible. You won't be able to see any of the cords once this is actually pushed against the wall like it's supposed to be. I just gotta cut off the ends of the zip ties. But while I have the desk away from the wall, I figured this is a good time to install my LED strip lights, which I'm gonna do a small unboxing for you guys here in a second. I picked these up at Walmart last night for 20 bucks because I forgot to order some. They are controlled by an app, which is new to me. I've never actually used LED lights that aren't controlled by a remote, like a physical remote. So let's go ahead and open these up here and just see what we're dealing with. Now I'm not familiar with the company or any of this stuff here, so this is new to me. This is a new product. I do like to use different, how do I get this thing shut like this? I do like to use different LED lights every time I do a setup build, just to kind of see what's out there, see what's the best. This is annoying to open, to say the very least. Open the box up, throw it out of your way. Startup guides, just to show you what you're doing. This is, I guess, a connector with some like 3M adhesive, maybe. Just stuff to mount them with if you want to mount them using that method. Got these things which are really stuck in there. Okay, so I got everything unboxed and I went and plugged it into the wall so I can see how these look. One thing I noticed I was playing around with this is you actually don't need the app. The app just makes it easier to work with. You can use this little button on the controller here that you plug it in with, and you can turn it on this way. You can cycle through colors with this as well. Like that's light blue, orange, like a darker blue, like a greenish. And yeah, basically it just cycles through colors. Nothing too fancy, but the app will allow you to select whatever color you want and change the hue of the color. So we'll do that later, but this does have adhesive backing on it to stick it to whatever you want. So I'm gonna use that to go ahead and stick these onto the back of the monitor. I'm also probably gonna use some clear tape, some packing tape to help hold it down in certain places, because this stuff doesn't like to stick to monitors and plastic very well. I've learned that the hard way over the years. And obviously this is like 6.5 feet worth of LED strip. I'm not gonna need all of it, so wherever I don't want it, or wherever I want to cut it off at, I believe these little copper strips right here, that little line between it, is where you're supposed to cut it at so that you don't break the LED strips. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm gonna do this off camera again because it's kind of hard to get the camera behind my monitors back there. So I'm gonna do this off camera and I'll be back once I get this all wrapped up. So I figured I'd just take a second to show you guys how I've got this all mounted up while I have the desk away from my wall. So I'm actually really impressed with the adhesive on the back of these strips. Like the lighting looks better than this in person, by the way. The camera just doesn't do it justice. The adhesive on the back of this stuff is actually really, really strong. I'm actually really impressed with the way that it's holding so far. Usually I've had a lot of bad experiences in the past where this stuff will come off almost instantly, but it's really sticking really well. I'm impressed with that. I ended up actually using all 6.5 feet of this stuff on the back. I kind of went this way with it, wrapped it around the side, and then came back through the wires to this side. That way it'll give a nice illusion off the wall here of the colored effect. So now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and run the wiring for it down the side with the back of this. You can kind of see what I'm doing back here with the wiring as well. So I'm gonna run the LED strip wires back down here as well, and then we'll push the desk back against the wall. We can kind of see what we're working with here. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is when you're running LED strips like this across the back of 2 monitors and you're using adhesive backing, you want to make sure you leave a little bit of a gap where there's some slack in this between the monitors. See, I got down here, there's some slack here and some slack up here. That way, if you move your monitors around, you're not going to rip the lights off of your monitors and have to redo it all again. So that's just something to be aware of. If you're doing 2 monitors and you're using adhesive backing, leave some slack between the monitors so you don't mess everything up in the end. Alright, so as you can see, we get the desk pushed back up against the wall like it's supposed to be. All of the wires are ran perfectly behind the monitor and the stand, so you can't even see anything at all, which is perfect. It's beautiful. Now it's time for us to focus on the microphone. So we're gonna go ahead and install this now, starting with the boom arm right here. And we're gonna put the clamp on over on this side of the desk here, and then we'll stick the boom arm in there. So I'm gonna show you guys a bit of a close-up shot of me doing that. And then I'll show you what kind of microphone we're gonna use for this build. All I gotta do is slide it on like that, and then there's a little knob on the bottom that we're gonna tighten up. Make sure it doesn't fall off the desk. And then once that's on, we can go ahead and take a step back. And then we can take the boom arm. I'm reusing my old one that I've been using for a few years now. It's still a good arm. It doesn't really matter what kind you're using, especially because it's just pretty much there to just articulate the microphone itself. So this part right here just goes into the stand. Just like that. And there's a little knob on the back here I had to tighten to make sure this doesn't slide back out again. And then, just like that, we got our mic stand back up. You can see I got this little adapter on it here, which we're gonna need for the microphone that I'm putting on this thing here in a second. Which, speaking of that, we can go ahead and show you guys what mic I'm gonna be using for this. Alright, so for the microphone, we're gonna be using a Blue Yeti Blackout Edition. This also has the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakout game thing, I guess. It's the only version of this microphone that I could get without waiting 2 months for it to come in through Amazon. So, we'll unbox this here on camera for you. Oh, I'm making a mess over here. I wanted the Blackout Edition, and I had to get the bundle in order to get it within the month. So we got a USB cable here that'll plug into the mic and into the computer. This is the power cable, essentially. And in the box, we have the, oh my god, that's heavy. We have the mic itself, which is upside down on the desk stand that they give you with it. So we're not going to be using the desk stand, obviously, so I'm going to unscrew this on both sides. I already had this out of the packaging earlier. Whoops, that's fine. So I already have it set on the cardioid setting, which is the upside down heart. So you have your microphone gain, which is the mic volume here on the back. You have your playback volume here, which is if you have your headphones plugged into the back of this thing, or sorry, the bottom. You can listen to your audio and see how loud you are. This is where you adjust how loud the playback is. Then you have a mute button here on the front as well, which is pretty cool. And with this microphone, get this out of the way, we also have a little foam pop filter / windscreen. This is kind of a little bit of both, a windscreen and a pop filter. It's not great at either of them, but it's good at both of them. And this will just slide on over the mic just like this. And because it's been squished in that package for God knows how long, it's kind of not round like it's supposed to be, but over time that'll eventually kind of clear itself up and it'll look good as new. So I also have a shock mount for this thing we got to put on there too. Let me go grab that real quick. All right, so like I said, we also have a shock mount here for this mic. This just prevents people from hearing a loud banging noise, like a popping sound when you hit your desk or something. So like if you knock on your desk like that, normally you would hear that in the mic. Anyone who's listening to you would hear like a loud banging or popping sound. This will negate that sound. So pretty simple how it works. There's just a bunch of little elastic bands there that keep it from vibrating. All the vibrations get absorbed into that, and it won't allow that to travel into the microphone. So pretty simple installation. You take the threaded end right here and put it onto the boom arm as you do. Let's see if we can't do this here. There we go. Fortunately, this is an extremely easy process. I can't exactly get that any more tight with my hand, but now what we'll do is we'll take the Blue Yeti microphone, and there's this big thread on the bottom here. I don't know how well my lights are picking that up, but there's that big thread right here that we're going to thread into this little knob right here. Sorry if the lighting sucks in this shot. My camera's kind of blocking one of my lights. So as we just take this and thread it into the microphone, kind of like this. Now, this is a bit heavy of a microphone, I'll be honest, so we got to kind of be careful about how we do this, but we'll have to go through and tighten up some of the connections over here in the boom arm, but I got to go through and set this up anyways to make sure it's actually set up in the proper position. So I'm going to go through and set this up properly, and I'll be right back. Alright, so as you can see, I got the microphone all set up here with a kind of a vertical angle to it. I also went ahead and zip tied the USB cable that powers the microphone to the boom arm here. Of course, you got to allow some slack for the boom arm to actually articulate when you're moving it around. So I left some slack down here and right here to allow it to move around, and there's also quite a bit right here. So I gotta make sure that the front of the microphone is up front where it's supposed to be. That way you're talking into the front. Seeing as I have it set in cardioid mode, it makes sense that I have the front of it facing me. So that's pretty well set up. I'm gonna go ahead and move this out of the way now, and we can move on to the keyboard and mouse. I think that's the next step of building my new setup. So let's go ahead and do it. So for the microphone, we're going with the Razer Basilisk. Basilisk? Am I saying that right? I hope so. This is a Razer Chroma product, so you have the ability to change the color of the RGBs. I've already used this product before in one of my previous builds, so I've already got it unboxed, and it's sitting right here. Still in pretty much brand new condition. I really don't use this thing all too heavily, but what we're gonna do is take the USB cord and put it through the hole in my desk. This is gonna help create a seamless illusion. Once the keyboard is on the desk, you won't even see the hole at all. So that's kind of the idea we're going for, is we want this to look like there's as few cables as possible. Set that off to the side there. For the mouse pad, I don't actually know what this is called. This is a Razer product, I just don't know the name of it. So we can throw this underneath the mouse here, just like that. That's upside down. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the mouse over there. I forgot the name of that mouse pad. I'll have to look it up and put it in the description down below. That's included in the price. I just completely am spacing on the name of it. For the keyboard, we're going with a Razer Black Widow Chroma. This is a relatively medium, I guess, low price mechanical keyboard from Razer. Pretty popular in color as well. It has the Razer green switches, tactile and clicky. I'm not 100% like in love with this keyboard, especially with the feel of the switches. They're not exactly what I want, but they do all right. Again, I've used this in a previous build before too. Still like new. I don't use my equipment too heavily. It's mostly just light gaming. We're gonna do the same thing with this one. And by same thing, I mean we're gonna take the cord, push it through the desk. This keyboard has a bit of a thicker cable to it. just feeding this through here. No big deal. And then we'll put this back up, make sure the things are folded out. And then once you get to this point, as you can see, having the keyboard there pretty much hides the hole in the desk completely. You can't even see that it was there before. So the only unfortunate thing about having a hole in your desk like that is it doesn't allow you to use a big mouse pad. I have a few like larger mouse pads that go underneath the entire thing, the keyboard as well, but I can't really use them because I'd have to poke a hole inside of the mouse mat itself, and I don't really want to do that. So for now I'm sticking with the regular mouse mat, which is perfectly fine by me. But those are my choice for keyboard and mouse because I've already used them before and I know they work, I know I like them, so I figured why change it if I don't need to or don't want to. So with that being said, we have the keyboard, the mouse mat, the monitors, the microphone. Pretty much everything is set up for the setup so far except for the PC, which is going back down there. I know a lot of you guys gave me crap last time for putting it down there on the carpet because it's gonna put dust in the fans and everything like that. I know that it's not good for the PC, but I really don't care. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. For the past year or so, I've had my PC sitting on the carpet. It's been fine, and I'm getting to the point where I need to build a new PC anyways because mine's getting slightly outdated. So I'm not really too concerned about the whole PC on the carpet thing, so please refrain from commenting about that. I know it's bad for it. It's fine. So let's go ahead and put my PC down there, and we'll start to wire everything up. This is gonna take forever. All right, so you guys can kind of see here what we got going on. I got the PC in there. My wires are kind of somewhat-ish managed a little bit. I don't know. I'll go through after the video is done in my own time and fix all this stuff up because it doesn't look as good as I would like it to. But for right now, just to get the video out of the way, it looks pretty good. I mean, not from this angle maybe, but I mean, if you look at it from the right angle, it doesn't look that bad, so I guess I'll take that as a win for right now. I got the PC in there all wired up. Everything is working, as you can see up top here. I've got the monitors fired up. I had to change a bunch of settings and stuff to make, you know, which monitor was which, and then I had to change the settings to 144 Hertz, 1080p, and it was basically just a huge process to get these things set up where they are now. And I've been kind of toying around with Razer Synapse to get my keyboard and mouse colors changed. One other thing I want to note is I've been trying really hard to get the LED strip app working, and it's just been a huge pain. I've spent like way too much time trying to get that thing to work, and it just doesn't seem to want to connect to the lights, but that's okay because it has a controller on there, like I showed you guys earlier, that you can do it manually. You just don't have as much options for colors. So I'm just gonna leave it as is for now. I think I'm gonna stick with the blue color scheme. I think it looks all right as it is. So I'm gonna turn my studio lights off here and I'll show you guys what it looks like right now. All right, so I don't know how well this lens is gonna do it justice, but this is kind of what it's looking like right now. And honestly, at this point, we're pretty much done with everything. So we're kind of looking at what it's gonna be like in the final product. The monitors kind of look like crap in this lighting. They look really good in person. It's just the way that the camera's lighting is. It's focusing on the LED lights behind it. So it looks really good. I think I'm gonna go with blue again, even though I always go with blue, but I don't really have a lot of options. I can go with like orange or yellow, but I don't like those colors. So as you can see, I've got a nice darkish, light, medium blue kind of going on here with the mouse and keyboard with Razer Synapse. Kind of been playing with it, like I've said. I don't really know if I like the color I've picked right now. It looks a bit dull, but I think for right now it looks pretty good. There you go, you can see the monitors do look really good now. Playing with my camera settings a little bit, you can see how well the monitors actually do look in good lighting. They look amazing, honestly. I'm really happy with my purchase there, so that's good. All right, well, there you guys go. That is my $700 budget gaming setup with the dual monitors, of course. You can't miss that. Just a bit of a recap, we're using Razer Black Widow and a Razer Basilisk, however you say it. That's what we're using for our mouse and keyboard. We got the Blue Yeti Blackout microphone, two Asus 24-inch curved 1080p 144Hz monitors, and of course you got my custom build PC down there with all of my horrible cable management. As you can see, doesn't look that bad, but it's not perfect either. I think that's gonna just about wrap it up for this video. I'm gonna go ahead and get some cinematic shots of this setup before I wrap the video up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time.